Then I wanted very much to follow in that path. They really practiced poverty. My children were 8 years old, 6, and 4. And the 4-year-old was the one I think that suffered the most. The parish members, I think they must have said something. But I was pretty wild and I didn't care. I was the free spirit and there was no way around it. I had to do that. Would you hear my confession, man of God? Would you hear what my life has been? I was immediately recognized. I've been to the ends of the earth and still long for him. Hizo lo que quiso. She did what she wanted to do. I was born in the San Luis Valley of southern Colorado, under Mount Blanca. And we had a huge ranch there, and we had a huge family. I'm the youngest of 13. And I was given the responsibility by the ancestors to carry on the music. Tio Jose, Tia Luisita, my grandfather was a singer too. And my mother only went to the 3rd grade, but she saw to it that I was educated and that I took piano lessons. So when the Benedictine nuns came to Capulin, that's when we took lessons from them and paid them with a gallon of milk. And I would go around to the kitchen where Sister Alfonso was washing the bucket so we could use it again. And I noticed how holy they were and how clean everything was. And then I wanted very much to follow in that path, you know. That's, I want to be holy. I don't always make it, but anyway.
You look very regal and very appealing to you.
Yes.
The regalness of the nuns all dressed up. They were dressed up in their habits. And,
yes.
And very...
They didn't go out, you know. They stayed in their convent except to go shopping. And then they would ask my mother, well, can Veronica go with us? See, they already had plans for me. You know, when you're a teenager, you don't like to be driving nuns around.
Okay.
I was 18 and then I left when I was 28.
My goodness. Did it go by fast or did it seem like time went on? Or
Well, it was very structured.
Very structured. So.
You got up at 4 o'clock, you dressed quickly, you said your little prayers when you put on your clothes, you know.
Okay.
We had underclothes that were like bloomers, you know, and T-shirts. So when you were doing the laundry, you looked and saw who had holes in their T-shirt. They really practiced poverty.
Piety.
You'd see the college girls, and they were all preppy, you know, they were dressed properly.
But you had to observe your vows of piety and...
Poverty,
yeah.
Chastity, and obedience.
Poverty, chastity.
They didn't soften it in this day, like today it's softened. But in those days, it was poverty, chastity, and obedience. And I systematically stay out of the world now because I maintain a certain peace. Well, that's what you're taught. You're taught silence. You're taught a lot of silence. The Buddhist nuns, they can do that. They can leave for a while and go and have a family, or they can go and pray, the opposite. They have that setup. It's a little more loose. But the Roman Catholic Church doesn't operate that way.
Once you leave, you left, and that's it. They don't... You can go back for whatever, but if you leave, you choose to leave. You know,
well, you know, I thought that we just weren't personable enough, you know. That was it was an influential part of my life, and I appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
But I also made a decision, you know, when I left, I had a little blue dress, I had a Monsignor type hat that my little cousins took and were playing with it. And we had a big old feast, and my mother never said anything. The parish members, I think they must have said something.
Uh-huh.
But I was pretty wild, and I didn't care.
That's a lot to say.
Well, I have the wanderlust. I like to travel. The gift of the Catholic Church is that they do advocate having people be active in matters that affect people.
Exactly.
And that was the time of the civil rights movement with King and the people that marched to Washington. And I went to Chicago partly because I wasn't used to the world, so I went to what was safe, and we had a house right there in the ghetto, and we organized. Some of us were religious, and we were, like I keep saying, out of the world and had to be retrained. And when we returned to the Southwest, then we still continued with the town meetings to see little teeny places like Blaine, Kansas, you know, what were the issues in that little town. The symbol, the song that would express their little town. And then it allowed them to make changes.
After your post-nunnery days, you decided to get married and have children and have a couple husbands, right, in your life?
My biological clock was ticking, and so I proposed to my husband. He didn't want to get married, you know. He likes women, so he didn't want to get married. And I said, well, I think we should get married because that's what I'm used to, you know. My mom and dad, they lasted till the very end, you know. They used to in those days.
Right. When did you start your music career? Was it right after you got out of the nunnery, or were you still recording when you were a nun, or you started recording?
Well, you know, we sang every day, and I was in Scola, so we sang polyphonic music.
Polyphonic.
Not just the Gregorian. The Gregorian is
Gregorian chants.
very beautiful, but it's one line. And that's when I learned to play the organ. I learned, they knew I had musical inclinations. But the recording only happened after I was married and divorced and separated from my children.
And we did all that when that was when your first
1981.
CD. Oh, great.
I was 44 years of age. I'm a late bloomer. By most standards, I'm a late bloomer. And people say, well, why did you take so long? I said, oh, don't even ask me. But as we have, it had to be that way.
Right.
We had to separate at that time. That marriage was good for having children. The second marriage was good for love. And the third one was for money.
For money. Okay. Well, we got three strikes, I don't know. Well, that's great.
You have to be kind of sassy when you're an artist.
Yeah, if you want people to notice you, I mean, or else they don't.
It's like I tell my daughter, you want to tell me what to do, you pay me. And she's not paying me
to do what you want,
So that's when I started with Una sieta antigua en mi patio. That one is a hit. Abuela de Noria is a hit too. What a waste of relationship it was on my husband.
Did it go fast?
I looked down into the Noria and I thought of you, you know, all of that romance.
Yeah. It's romantic. Well, sometimes those kind of things stir us, you know.
Yes.
You have to go through tragedy in order to find happiness.
Right.
You did what you wanted to do, but you say that your children were a big influence in you in what they wanted you to do. How did that affect your music? Is that, like you were saying, that I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but you said you'd be so much happier if you had the full support of your children, you know, saying, well, let's help our mother, you know, reach her goals and things like that.
Well, in the natural world, that doesn't happen. My children were 8 years old, 6, and 4. And the 4-year-old was the one I think that suffered the most. But ordinarily, you stay with your family, you know. You please your husband, you know. I would be expected to be the exemplary mother, and I wasn't that at all.
Exemplary, yeah. It's a tough job, I'm sure.
I was the free spirit, and I was going. There was no way around it. I had to do that.
Right.
You know, whether history judges me, well, que me juzguen, tú sabes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're a good mother and a good grandmother. And you,
well,
yeah.
it teaches them to do what's in their destiny to do.
They have your blood, so.
Their destino. This one was written to my daughter. I have 2 sons and a daughter. This is a song to her. Tú eres mi agenda, mi horario, mi mentalidad. No aguanto tu delirio, pero eres mi agenda. Entre culpa y gozo, te miro con tu cigarrillo, píldoras del doctor que hacen otro daño. At times you seem like a hardened criminal, but I know that's just an act to hide your hurt, your pain, your desperation. You are my agenda, mi horario, mi mentalidad.
I was talking about the spirituality and the familiarity of your home, and how you said that you had seen a vision. Or can you tell us a little bit more of your
It was a post-divorce. Regrettably, I say that the divorce was necessary because I had to go on. Right. I don't know if people are going to understand that, but I had to go on. I don't have to justify that to anybody. I was laying with my head to the north on the floor. I was sleeping on the floor. And given my Christian background, well, the image that's going to come to me is the Christian image. I don't say this too much because people don't take it too kindly. But early in the morning, I had a dream where Jesus appeared. Didn't say anything. He was in his shepherd's cloak. I said, well, maybe if I'm quiet, he won't go away. But he did go away. What I learned from that was to be peaceful, to be at peace, to take that divorce, to take the separation from the children, and to go on. I'm still going on.
We look forward, to working on your feature documentary now in the near future.
It'll probably be called Hizo lo que quiso.
Hizo lo que quiso. That's the production company, or is that going to be the name of the film?
She did what she wanted to do.
She did what she wanted to do.
And this is kind of a message to women that if you do that, you're going to pay the price for one thing, but it behooves us to put our 25 cents in too.
And follow your dreams.
Yeah.
And you followed your dreams.
I did.